The largest expense in many businesses has no owner. Not HR, not finance, not operations, not the CEO. And that may be one of the most overlooked value creation opportunities in private equity because every private equity firm scrutinizes procurement. Every CFO scrutinizes capital expenditures. Every board reviews technology investments. Yet, labor often represents 40 and sometimes 60% of operating expenses. And remarkably, little of the value creation plan is designed around improving the return on investment. The assumption is that labor is an expense. I think labor is a capital allocation decision. And the difference between those two ideas may be worth millions of dollars. Most organizations divide labor ownership. Finance owns compensation, HR owns people, operations owns productivity, payroll owns administration, benefits owns benefits, recruiting owns hiring. Everybody owns a piece. Nobody owns the whole. And because nobody owns return on labor investment, opportunities often go untouched. Not because organizations lack intelligence, not because management lacks capability, because the ownership structures weren't designed to discover them. My playbook. Think about how private equity firms approach other areas. Procurement has owners, technology has owners, working capital has owners, capital expenditures have owners, acquisitions have owners. There are dashboards, KPIs, accountability, board discussions, executive reviews. Now ask a different question. Who owns return on labor investment? Who is accountable for improving it? Who reports on it? Who measures it? Who discusses it at the board level? So, what changed? The operating environment changed. Labor costs increased. Healthcare costs increased. Technology changed. AI changed. Hold periods extended. Distribution pressure increased. Capital became more expensive. Sponsors need more operating improvement. Management teams are being asked to do more, yet many value creation plans still treat labor as an administrative expense. Something to manage, something to budget, something to report, not something to optimize. Let's think about this differently. A private equity firm may spend months improving procurement, negotiating contracts, reducing costs, improving pricing, and those initiatives matter. But labor often represents the largest expense in the business. A 1% improvement in economics can create meaningful EBITDA, a reduction in administrative burden, improve manager productivity, lower overtime, reduce turnover, better technology utilization, more efficient workflows. Those things compound. And at a private equity multiples, small improvements become meaningful enterprise value. The largest expense often receives the least scrutiny. That assumption deserves another look. This is where it becomes interesting. Finance assumes HR owns it. HR assumes operations owns it. Operations assumes finance owns it. And opportunities that belong to everyone belong to no one. Nobody owns return on labor investment, administrative burden, manager productivity, workforce ROI, span of control, labor efficiency. And as a result, everybody sees pieces. Nobody sees the entire system. And some opportunities remain untouched, not because they're hidden, because nobody owns connecting the dots. Private equity firms treat technology as capital allocation. They treat acquisitions as capital allocation. They treat equipment as capital allocation. But labor is often treated as an expense. I think that's wrong. Labor may be the largest capital allocation decision in the business because every hiring decision is a capital allocation decision. Every management layer is a capital allocation decision. Every administrative process is a capital allocation decision. Every hour spent on low value work is a capital allocation decision. And if labor is capital, then labor deserves scrutiny. It deserves accountability. It deserves ownership. So, my executive question: who owns the return on labor investment? Who measures it? Who improves it? Who reports it? Who discusses it? If you bought your company today, would you organize labor ownership the same way? Would you measure the same things? Would you ask the same questions? Or would you treat the largest expense differently? This isn't really a labor discussion, it's an ownership discussion. The market assumes organizations miss opportunities because they lack information. I don't think that's true. Most companies have smart people. Most sponsors have smart operating partners. Most CFOs understand cash flow. Most management teams understand operations. The problem isn't intelligence, the problem is ownership, and opportunities without owners often go untouched. The next turn of value may exist outside the original thesis. Sometimes it exists outside the organization chart. Sometimes it exists between functions. Sometimes it's inside the largest expense in the business. The question isn't whether labor matters. The question is who owns that return on investment. Because what belongs to everyone often belongs to nobody. And that may be one of the largest opportunities sitting inside the portfolio today. My name is Preston Leahy, and I am the go-to for payroll and private equity nationwide. No exceptions, no rivals. See you on the next one.